Yeah, kind of like in every hard situation and tough situation. I know COVID's way different than a lot of the other tough situations, but you just got to remember to keep going, keep pushing forward. Nothing lasts forever, which might be a good thing in this case. And just remember to keep going and remember why you started. Before you quit, just remember why you're doing it. And most of the time, I think it's all about having fun for us. So just like I said before you quit, remember why you started, and just stay strong, keep pushing forward, and better days are hopefully coming.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters on That podcast. I am your host, Brian. And join me today, it's the one and the only Drumman 190, aka Matt. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. And you're actually at Pennsylvania, and I actually just learned that recently because I guess when we were chatting in WhatsApp, you said that's where you live too. Where at?
PM, about maybe an hour away from Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, you're on the eastern half of the PA, yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys, I'm on the west side there and over in Pittsburgh too, which I know I mentioned a few times in my interviews, but that's really cool too because I know it's Chris, aka Throwback Drummer, and it's me, and then you. So that's a very interesting story. So welcome on to my podcast. I know your podcast was a real inspiration to me too because I saw your Five Strokes at Five, and I think it was the one with SJC drums, custom drums, and
Yeah.
that was the one I saw, and I wanted to kind of interact with you guys. So, regardless of whatever the circumstances were, but uh, I would say that really got me going too, and that's what led me to do this podcast. And then also with Drummer's Key, doing this little interview with Throwback Drummer as well. It's what got me onto here too. So good to have you on. So, got some
Well, it's
questions
good to
here
be
for you.
here, and I'm happy to hear that.
Yep. So, I just got some questions here for you. So, I think people would like to know a little bit more about yourself. So, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so let's start with a simple one. Tell us a little bit about your drum history. How did you get into drumming?
All right. So when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I got one of those first act little kid drum sets. I really enjoyed playing on that. Um, Later on, that broke. So then a few years later, when I turned 13 years old, um, I saw a School of Rock opened up close to where I lived. School of Rock's like a music program. You can learn an instrument. You can also play with other kids and do shows and stuff like that. So I signed up for that when I was 13. That really got me back into playing the drums. I did that for about a year, which that involved learning songs and also doing shows with other kids like Green Day, 80s metal, stuff like that. It was really fun. I did that for about a year. And then a year later, I found a drum teacher named Buddy O, and I started taking lessons with him, and that's when everything changed with my drumming. He wasn't just teaching me songs; he was actually teaching me the drums, like rudiments, reading music, actually teaching me the instrument. So that's when things started changing. I took lessons with him for about 6, 7 years. He taught me everything I know about the drums. So that's a little bit of my history.
I see. And I guess when did you start jumping into like YouTube and stuff like that? Has that been going on for a good while now? Because I know with your
Yeah, this
subscriber count and
month.
everything.
Yeah, this month is actually my ninth year anniversary on YouTube. So I started my YouTube channel as soon as I started learning the drums. Uh, yeah,
So you kind of like kept a like a little journey for like, hey, this is when I start off as a rookie, and then here I am now,
yeah,
9 years later.
yeah. It's cool. You can look back, 9 years ago, and you can kind of see my progression as a drummer, which is I really like looking back every once in a while. It's cool. It's
That's
fun.
pretty sweet. Did you just start off doing the drum covers and then kind of worked in everything else afterwards?
Yeah, at first, I think my first video was a Breaking the Law drum cover. That was a drum cover, but it didn't have any music to it. I didn't know how to edit in the music, so it was just a drums only version.
Hmm.
I also uploaded, I think, a performance video and also a review of like drumsticks, stuff like that. Uh, and it kind of grew from there.
Yeah. I guess talk about your little podcast, Five Strokes at Five. I guess whose idea was it? Because I know your friend of yours, John, was his name.
Yeah, I asked him to jump on. He was just getting started on YouTube, so I wanted to help him out and help grow his channel. Yeah, it was my idea of starting a podcast. A lot of my viewers would always suggest They wanted me to start a podcast. So I started it. I asked him to join in because I wanted to help him grow his channel and help him get a head start. And yeah, just started off first just interviewing maybe drummers around the community, and then it kept growing. I kept asking bigger and bigger drummers, and I've just been amazed and very fortunate to be able to talk to some drumming legends, some of my favorite drummers. It's been really fun.
Yeah, absolutely too. And I guess how'd you get a SJC on there? Was it John or was it you that kind of reached out to them?
Oh yeah, I got all the guests. I was the one in charge of reaching out to people and getting the names. Yeah, SGC, such nice people. They're so willing to help you out. They're a big company, and they're always willing to talk to you, give you a hand, answer any questions you have. So they were very nice to come on and chat.
That's so sweet too. And I guess how many episodes are you in right now?
I think I just released the 46th episode, I think. So it's been a little over a year of doing that. It's been fun.
That's pretty sweet. I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. Are you guys just kind of interviewing, asking your own questions? Like, because I guess now you've been flying solo ever since, because it seems like John kind of fell off the radar.
Yeah, he kind of missed. He kind of got busy. Kind of had to drop out a few interviews that we had scheduled. So I've just been flying solo. I've been enjoying it. I've been trying to make it more about the guest, talking about the guest, besides just talking about ourselves. But yeah, I've been flying solo, been having fun with it. Yeah, it's just a show. If no one knows it's watching, it's a show that we interview drummers. It might be Thomas Lang, or it might be, some drummers in our community, like drums by Ash Wells, or, guys like yourself. Yeah, so it's just fun. I just like talking to drummers that I like. So it's just a fun show.
Well, I had to laugh because I saw your interview with Eric, and then I saw you do it with like Ash. I think you had Drummer's Key at some point, and then I always kind of joke saying like, "Oh, now he's just copying me," that sort of thing.
Yeah, I just like talking to drummers that I like, So it's just a fun thing to do. I'm sure
I do too. I do too, and yeah, and it really kind of helps out. I think it breaks down the barriers too, because we've been so confined in our little space for now going over 2 years with COVID and everything. So now It's like, I think I need to figure out how to get past this little barrier that kind of influenced my introversy, if we're going to make up a word, kind of throw it out there. But yeah, and I have to say each one has been a blessing. Would you kind of say the same?
Absolutely. I love them all for different reasons, all the interviews.
Yep, absolutely. Talk about your kit right there. Is that the most recent one you had?
Yeah, this is my SJC kit. I got this in 2018. It's a red pearl finish with black hardware. 2 floor toms. There is 2 rat toms, but I usually only use one. A snare and kick, obviously. And then red pearl, like I said. And most recently, I've been endorsed by Attic Custom Drums. They've been making some phenomenal snares. I have 2 of them. I have a Pitula one. I also have a 5.5 by 14. Absolutely love them. So that's my kit.
That's pretty sweet. And I guess all the other ones behind you there?
Yeah, before that, it was my Pearl Export kit in the corner over there. That was my first real drum set, besides the first that.
I see. And what are the other ones on the racks over there?
Those are my snares. I have SGC aluminum, SGC brass. I have a DW. I also have, I think, a Pearl Chad Smith signature. So yeah, it kind of varies from SGC, DW, Attic Custom Drums.
I see, yeah. Which snare are you using right now?
Right now on the kit, it's a Ludwig Acrolite, 5.5 by 14. It's a Ludwig Acrolite.
Was that the one you used in your most recent cover, Like a Stone?
What one was there? Like a Stone, yes.
The Audiosave one, yeah.
Yeah, the drum cover collaboration, yeah, that one.
I always laugh when I hear that song too, but at the same time, it kind of makes me sad because that's one of the Chris Cornell songs. Rest in peace. And it's always good to hear it too, but it's like one of those softer kind of melody ones. So
yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I guess where did the name Drumman 190 come from? Because I know you talked about it in Eric's, but for those who don't know, can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, Drumman 190. I was trying to think of cool names when I was creating my channel, so I thought drum, and I'm a man, so Drum Man. And 190 represents my birthday, 1 being January, 19 being the day I was born, and then the 0 being 2000. That represents 2000. So that's my birthday, 190, and I just thought a drum man was cool.
Yeah, it's sweet too. I'm actually January as well, so man, we have a lot in common right now.
Cool. Yeah, cool. What day are you born?
January 5th.
Cool.
And then 92. January 5th, 92.
Nice.
So
Cool.
got a few years above you, so a little bit of seniority there, so sorry. I guess where'd you get the sign for that? Was it custom made by somebody?
The sign, yeah, it was a neon sign. I don't know what year it was. Maybe 2018, 2017. Yeah.
Somebody made it for you. All right. I guess what's all the pictures you got around you too?
Yeah, these are actually pictures of like School of Rock shows I was a part of. So Guns N' Roses versus Motley Crue, Modern Rock, Soundgarden versus Pearl Jam, and on this side we have The Who, That 70s Show, Judas Priest, Red Hot Chili Peppers, all the great bands.
I see. Is that the... I was trying to make sure it's got a little background noise. Guys kind of working out in the yard, sorry. So sorry. I guess go back into your YouTube channel because you've now kind of achieved well beyond like the 1,000 subscriber mark and everything too. So I guess what do you hope to achieve with it now, kind of going forward?
Just really, even when I started, it was just my goal was just to inspire people, inspire people to drum, inspire people to make videos, and if I can do that, that's really what my dreams and hopes are for my channel.
Okay, and was that also the same for the drummers to watch? Because that's what you created on Facebook, right?
Yeah, drummers to watch. I've done many series in the past that are featuring other channels. I've done Shout Out Sunday. I've done Drum Cover of the Week. Drummers to Watch is just a series I created. It will be 2 years this August, just to support and feature new and upcoming drummers. There's so many drummers out there. You've interviewed a lot of them. So many drummers out there they don't have that many subscribers and viewers as some others. So it's just a way to give back and try to show my support for others.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It was whenever you first start off, you're thinking like, oh, maybe I'll just do drum covers and then see where it goes. And you realize it's such a saturated market and everything. So
Yeah.
the problem is you got to figure out how to get some help right there. So it's definitely good what you and Ash, Eric, all the rest of the guys are doing too. So, and it's really been helpful to us. So thank you so much, bud.
Of course. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So let's see. Before we jump into some other stuff, what kind of sticks do you use? Was that Vic Firth?
Yeah, I use Vic Firth 5B. I've tried different brands in the past, Vader, ProMark. I've just always stuck with Vic Firth. They hold up really well. They're durable. Yeah, pretty good.
That's pretty sweet. I also noticed the microphone you've been using. Is that the Shure X370? Is that what it is?
Yes. This is fairly new over the last, I think, month or two.
Yeah. Actually, I have it too, but I've been kind of rolling with my AT2020 right here, so because I always like the way it projects the sound, even though it picks up all the other background noise that probably happens in and around the house too. So,
Yeah.
but it does a trick, so that's all that matters. So, let's see. What do you love most about drumming?
I don't know. That's a tough question. There's a lot. I love it all, honestly. I love, just sitting behind a kit, putting on some music, taking your mind off things, just playing the drums. I love it all, honestly. I don't know if there's one particular thing I love most.
Well, most people in the interviews I've done, it's like it's a bit of a therapy kind of session at times after a long day's work. So I don't know if you're doing like a full-time job and then this is like something you do on the side. Is that kind of how it is for you?
Yeah, it's just good to just come in, take your mind off things, but also just the YouTube thing. Just share your passion with other drummers like yourself and people watching. It's just fun to interact with people and just have fun playing the drums and playing music. That's the best thing.
I guess what would you say has been like your hardest drum cover you ever did?
I don't know. I don't necessarily pick hard songs to do. I just pick songs I like to play and enjoy playing. Probably one of the longest ones I've done was Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day. It's probably one of the longest songs. Also, Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. That's a really long song that took a lot of time to practice and work. So those two probably stand out the most.
Won't Get Fooled Again. Oh, yeah. Actually, I remember trying to mess around with that song on Rock Band, and it was just like, this is so crazy. And I was kind of amazed I was even able to get through it, too. But
It's all over the place. Yeah, it's hard.
You know, that's the thing. You gotta love Keith Moon. It was like maybe in the beginning he was a bit crazy, kind of all over the place at times. Maybe not so much keeping count, but then it said he got better, so it came all together right then and there.
Yeah.
So it's like Jiminy Christmas. This is all crazy stuff, man. So
Yeah,
it's,
definitely.
it's good to see you did it too. So hats off to you. So let's see. What are your plans for your channel this year? I guess kind of keep rolling what you're doing.
Yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing with the drum covers. I'm in summer, so I usually do outdoor drum covers in the summer. Also, at the end of the year, in December, I always do a Drummers to Watch contest. So I plan on doing that this coming December. And yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing, having fun with it. That's what it's all about.
Is that also going to be for like the next few years and everything else? Kind of same
As
strategy?
of right now, yeah, as of right now, keep going with the podcast, trying to get some fun guests to talk to. Drummers to Watch, keep going with that, obviously, and the drum covers.
I actually saw your video with Mike Conway, Mike Few, and Joaquin when you
Yeah.
had it on recently. And what made you start doing that one, where like you'll play the drums solo and then they'll have to guess that drummer?
Yeah, we've done that a few times in the past. I had the idea. I think it was last summer. We haven't done many of them, but yeah, it's just a fun idea. Guess that drummer it's called. I'm gonna try to do more of them. I think they're a big hit. A lot of people like them. A lot of people have requested to come on and play. So maybe I'll do a contest of that in the future. That would be fun.
I have to always laugh from Mike Few's reactions because he just kind of makes these funny looks and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, you really want me to try to guess this, man? I'm going to embarrass myself on here.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. It's much harder than it looks, honestly.
Oh, I can imagine too, because I was even just listening to it. I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to know? I don't even know many drummers outside like Peter Criss, Alex Van Halen,
Yeah.
maybe Neil Peart and stuff like that. But
Yeah, Neil
I mean,
Peart, that's a big one. Yeah, they all kind of sound similar in a way, you know. So it's pretty tough.
I would just say like recommendation, maybe give some hints, maybe like say like what year or
Yeah, yeah.
genre or
But
something.
yeah, I try to help them out, you know, if they're not getting it, you know, give like a hint, like, oh, he's a 70s drummer or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So just something suggesting going forward. What made you want to do like outdoor covers?
Just to change up the scenery, change up the fun. It's way different from recording inside like a room. Drums sound completely different, so you're gonna have to mix it a little bit different. You also have to take in the weather, like the wind. If it's really windy, then it's not a good day to record. Yeah, it's just to have fun in the summer, and just to try to change up the scenery.
I see. And I saw your video on Facebook where you sped it up and everything, and you were kind of showing your setup
Yeah,
and everything too.
Setting up the drums, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess was it last year your basement had flooded over?
Yeah, September 1st.
I guess kind of walk us through like what happened there, and I guess what did you lose?
Yeah, lost a lot. So we have a walk down basement. You walk down steps to get into the basement, and this has happened before, where it rains really hard and then the water will start piling up. But in the past, we usually have a shop vac and towels, and we're usually able to keep the water out. But this time, it was Hurricane Ida actually that we were getting like the aftermath of, and the water kept coming. It was filling up. It's about 12 steps, so it was maybe let's say 9 steps completely full of water. I have some pictures on that video that I filmed. Water kept coming down, and eventually we start to see the door buckle in. So we all start running away from the door. I run in my studio, start getting my stuff, and the door just completely busts through. Water's flowing through the basement. Luckily, I did lose some recording equipment like microphones and stuff like that. A few drums, but luckily myself and my family were able to get my drums out. And that's really probably the only thing that we're able to keep safe in our basement, the drums.
Yeah,
Which to me is the most important part. But yeah, we lost a lot.
yeah, I guess that was pretty hard afterwards. I guess
Definitely.
insurance would cover some of it, but not all the equipment and stuff like that. So
Definitely not everything. Definitely not like family things, Christmas things. Some stuff you really can't replace. So yeah, we lost a lot, but luckily no one was hurt, and we all made it out.
absolutely, that's good to hear too. Have you kind of made renovations to the basement, so maybe something like that doesn't happen again, or just
Yeah,
kinda,
we have. We're just waiting to see if it works.
we're gonna test it. We'll wait
Yeah,
for the test to happen.
sadly, you can't really get a hose and put water down there and see if it works. It's really the impact of the storms, you know. So we'll see. Hopefully, it does the trick.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, best luck to you. But
Thank
get into COVID, I guess. How did that impact you, your family, and your community?
Yeah, like everywhere, it impacted everyone in some way, you know. Some more than others. Obviously, the community was definitely affected, but luckily, we were lucky. We didn't get sick. We stayed healthy and we stayed safe. And it still is kind of today affecting people. You know, it's kind of it seems like every day is a new variant. You know what I mean? So yeah, luckily though, myself and my family we stayed healthy. Yeah, we're getting through it. It's been tough, but we're getting through it.
Yeah, kind of same with me too, but it's kind of worked for me because it's allowed me to start doing this podcast and work from home. Because before then, I had always gone into the office, and then I never thought I was going to be able to work from home because it seemed to be more of a seniority kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Luckily for us drummers, we could start a podcast or focus on our practicing drums and stuff like that. So that's been a good part of it, you know.
uh, did it allow you to kind of do more on YouTube?
Yeah, it kind of inspired the podcast. Even though we started, I think it was February of 21. That kind of inspired the idea of just something to do while we're stuck inside. Also, forced me to practice more and try to dig in more to YouTube. So that's a good thing about it.
Absolutely. It's good to see that it's really taken off for you too. So I guess get back into the podcast a little bit. I guess who's been your interesting guest so far?
Most interesting guests? I don't know. They're all interesting in a different way. What do you mean by interesting? Like,
I guess
most fun?
funny. Well, they don't want to kind of throw any back,
Most
kind of backwards.
most inspiring one has probably been Kenny Arnoff and Dom Famularo.
Yeah.
Those two are very inspiring drummers. And they're after you listen to them and talk to them, you want to get behind your drums and practice. So they're probably the two that are most inspiring. Yeah, my favorite one was probably Thomas Lang. He's one of my favorite drummers. But also just the ones I've done with Ash Wells and Eric from the Drum Attic and Guess That Drummers. They're definitely on the top of my list of favorites. Just having fun, you know.
Yeah, you guys were definitely having fun with the recent one with Few, Conway, and Joaquin. So I can definitely see why, and also then kind of makes you look
Yeah,
stupid too.
you've interviewed them, and they're great guys.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I know we talked for a good bit for each one of them, and Joaquin's outranks them all out of all the views that everybody has right there. So
Yeah.
he's got that special look. I'll give him that. He's got that look.
Yeah, he's cool. Great
Yes.
drummer too.
I guess let's see where we're at. Uh, you said Thomas Lang was one of your more favorite drummers. Would you say he's more of your biggest influencer, or do you have others?
I wouldn't say biggest influencer. He's kind of been more recent over the last few years that I've really liked watching. I could watch him all day. He's awesome. But influenced me early on was probably Trey Cool from Green Day. I would just put on their albums like Dookie and American Idiot, all those albums, and just try to my best to play along with them. So he probably inspired me the most drumming wise. But also my teacher Buddy Al. He's a huge inspiration to me and influence on my playing.
It's funny you mentioned about Trey Cool and Dookie because that whole album it's really fast too, and there's a lot of good songs on it. But like the drumming on it's insane too, and you just do like
Yeah.
try to do Burnout, or I
Yeah,
guess,
I know. I feel like he's really underrated, honestly. He's a phenomenal drummer. He's super fast. And just the parts, like you said, Burnout, that solo section, even Welcome to Paradise, that tom part, and that tom and bell part, it's insane, the stuff he does.
I actually had to try when I was doing a cover band. It was like a couple months ago. We actually were doing Welcome to Paradise too, and I had to admit that middle part is pretty tricky. There's
Yeah.
no easy way to do it.
Yeah, even just keeping up with the speed of the song is hard enough. And then he adds that bell part in the middle. It's crazy.
Well, it's like it speeds up a little bit, but like you're trying to listen to the bass too, but like everything that suddenly gets drowned out by everything else. So
Yeah.
you can see why it's a little tricky.
Yeah, it's definitely harder than it may come across.
Actually, another tough one from that album was I'm not sure if it's pronounced right, but Eminus Sleepus or something like that.
Yeah.
That
That's
one
a
has
tough
a
one.
crazy drum solo too.
In the end, is another hard one. It's super fast. It's quick. It's a quick song. It's like a minute, 46 seconds, but it's a tough song too. I've been wanting to cover that for a while.
I think it's only like that middle section where it's like mostly snare and stuff like that. It's
Yeah, a lot of snare work. Yeah, that's the tough part.
I would say that one, and then like, well, I'd say everything else is at least doable when you just put your mind to it and then start practicing it. But yeah, definitely the middle part there before it jumps into the last chorus. So yeah, I see what you mean.
It takes some time. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I was just thinking of the question too, and
Yeah, that's probably my favorite band.
Green Day.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'd say do Bang Bang too. I know that one's kind of a fun song too.
Yeah, that was one of their more recent albums, 2016 Revolution Radio. That was a really good album. That was their first album back since their kind of hiatus. And that's probably my favorite album of the newer ones, you know.
Which one would you say is your favorite overall from all the
Overall?
works they've done?
Probably American Idiot. I could put that album on and start to finish. It's it's probably my favorite album from Green Day.
I can see why, but it's like one continuous story of like everything too, and then it's
Yeah.
almost like I don't know if I can put my sticks down because it feels like I have to keep going or something like that. So
Yeah, I know. If you play that straight through, you just keep playing, playing, playing. Another album, not from Green Day, but probably my favorite album ever, Appetite of Destruction by Guns N' Roses. That's another album I think from start to finish is just a masterpiece.
well, it seems like that one is like the only one like Guns N' Roses is kind of like really known
Yeah.
for because
The,
obviously
the album.
the Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child, Oh Sweet Child of Mine. I mean that
That's
album
all, just right there. That's huge hits right there.
I know, but it's like it was like kind of like a one hit wonder in a sort of way.
Yeah, in a sort of way, yeah, because they started so high, it's kind of hard to get back there. I know.
I mean, there might be like songs of like other albums, but it's like
A few, yeah, a handful probably.
I would say like I don't know. I'm listening to Appetite Destruction. I feel like this is. I don't know if you guys could ever reach that ever again, to be honest. But
That's too hard. It's too hard.
yeah. So let's see. Have you ever played on an electric set before?
I have. Yeah, I have.
Have you ever thought like maybe integrating it with your set and try to mess around with like a percussion kind of style, kind of like how Pert's set is kind of set up?
Yeah, like kind of electronic hybrid. I've thought of it, but I'm more just an acoustic guy. I like the feel of hitting real drums. There's nothing like hitting a real drum. Even those electronic ones, they do their good work of making it feel like a drum, but there's nothing quite like hitting a real acoustic drum and cymbal. Nothing like it.
You get the feel for it, man. You want to feel that pump, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of brand is the electric kit, by the way?
Oh, I don't have one. I've played them in the past. I don't have
Oh, you got rid of it. Sorry.
Yeah, I have like a DW pad practice set. That's not electronic, but it's like a practice pad set. Yeah, I don't own an electronic kit, but I have played them in the past.
Okay, I see. So let's
Yeah.
see. Gotta jump around between questions here because we went a lot quicker than I thought we would. I guess, I don't know if I asked you this, but maybe it was kind of along the same lines. Is there something you hope to achieve on a YouTube channel? Because you're technically one of the more higher guys in our community in terms of like subscriber counts, not to throw like numbers out there and everything, but you're kind of like the big, what's the word, like alpha male or something like that of the drumming community in our little circle too. So I guess, is there something you hope to achieve with your channel going forward?
Yeah, I said this a little earlier on. I just want to inspire people, honestly. If I can inspire someone to, maybe pick up the sticks again and keep drumming, or just having fun making covers and interacting with people and just having fun with it. That's really my goal and my dream with this. That's what I hope to do. I hope I have done a little bit.
You definitely have, and like I said before, like you, Ash, Eric, everybody else, we've all been blessed to have you guys in our community too. So it's been a big help. I
Thank
did
you.
remember the
You're
question.
helping a lot of people too with interviewing them and having cool conversations. So you're doing a good job too.
Thank you so much. Like I like to be kind of an influencer at some point too.
Yeah, you are definitely. I've seen you've been knocking these interviews out.
Well,
Sometimes-
it's been like doing like 3 a week, and I have to say like
Yeah.
that's kind of a little bit of hassle because I still got a whole bunch of these interviews left over. So
It takes a lot of time, definitely. So kudos to you for putting the work in.
thank you. Like I said, I got a little bit of free time on my hands. It's good with a full-time job. I'm able to find like some time here and there, so it's all good and everything.
So you're doing like 3 a week?
Not this week. Normally it was like Wednesday and then Saturday and Sunday because of the weekend and everything.
Yeah. Nice.
But I know at the end of May it was jam packed with everything too, because I know I had Rich West, and then John Grubbs, those kind of guys, which I still got to get through all their editing process before we wrap up there. So
Cool.
I do remember the question I wanted to ask. And have you ever played in any cover bands or any sort of band practice?
Yeah, I have. Like I said, Stool of Rock. I guess you can kind of call that a cover band, even though you're with, it's a program. I was with Stool of Rock for a couple of years, but I was also with a band called Revel Star. It was a cover band. That was before COVID, so we were kind of doing a lot of shows the summer before COVID. And then, of course, once we get started, COVID happens and kind of got to put that on hold. But hopefully, once everything starts opening up again and allowing full shows to be back, we can get back to that because it's fun. Nothing like playing out. It's definitely fun to be out there.
You guys just stuck locally, just kind of playing at the local bars and stuff like that?
Yeah, local bars and restaurants. If they had an event, we would play. Yeah, it was fun. We had a lot of fun doing that. We kind of filled that whole summer with doing shows, which was awesome.
I see. And I guess, have they loosened the COVID restrictions around your neck of the woods?
They have, but not a lot of places are allowing people to come and perform, like a full packed venue.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's kind of hard.
Yeah, it's still a little bit of down. You kind of thought, we feel like we would almost get back to normal, but nope. There's always a way for COVID to stick around.
You would think 2 years later we'd be a little bit better. Well, we are a little bit better, but not completely there yet.
Yeah, one would have hoped. So hopefully we get back to that point. It'll be
hopefully
nice.
Next summer.
Actually, I think what would be interesting if you ever do like shows again, because you see how Sacha, virtual drummer, he's been doing those little vlogs, and he does like his little live performances he goes to and everything.
Yeah, he's in UK, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know if that's something you would ever want to do, but
yeah, maybe. Cool.
Just an idea for thought. Okay, so walk us through the process for you. I guess how do you go about picking a song, and after recording it, what do you use for editing?
Okay, so usually I just, like I said a little bit previously, I just pick the songs I like. I'm not just going to cover a song just because someone requested it, or maybe if a song's popular. I always pick a song that I like and that I can play. So I usually just pick a song I like, I practice it a few times. I'm not one to spend so long on a song, like weeks on a song. I usually just want to practice for a little bit, and then I start setting up for the cover. So everything's always set up, microphone's always set up, so I just plug in. Usually it's 1 to 3 takes I use for a cover. Once I film it, then I take it to my computer. I use iMovie and GarageBand. So GarageBand for the recording, the drums, and iMovie for the editing. Quickly edit it, and then the cover's done. So it's a quick process.
Does it take you maybe like a couple hours at most if you do the takes all good and everything?
Yeah, as long as if you add in all the editing and the recording all together, it's probably 2 hours maybe.
And how many camera angles?
I usually have a GoPro and then my iPad and iPhone, but lately I've just been doing the iPhone and iPad. I'm just making 2 angles. I think that's enough. Less time to edit,
Yeah, I can see why too. Because try to do it with 3 angles too. You have to make sure they're all lined up in the beginning. Yeah. Then you just trim it down and you just try to make sure it all fits like here and there.
Yeah, just trying to make things easier with 2, so it gets the job done. So.
Would you say you have any sort of like perfectionist side, feel like you have to do it right, or do you leave in your mistakes?
I definitely do leave in my mistakes. I just filmed a bunch of outdoor drum covers, and those are always one take. I'm not going to redo something a bunch of times when I'm outside. I got to get inside before the neighbors call the police. So I'm definitely outside. I usually do one take. I don't care how much I mess up. It's always one take. But if I'm inside in my studio, safe and secure, I will do 2 to 3 takes. It depends how the mistake is. If it's a big mistake, then I'll definitely stop. But if it's just missing, a crash or a little small part of the fill, then I'll usually leave that in.
I see. And do you still use the 2 camera angles for the outdoor ones?
Yes, 2 camera angles for outside as well. Yes.
And is it the AirPods you use in order to get the song going for your ears and everything?
AirPods are usually just for when I usually edit and mix. I usually use Shure earphones, and I just plug it into my iPad and play it like that. And I also use Moises. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like a app that you can make songs drumless. That has been a huge help. And that's an awesome app. I highly recommend it to anyone that makes covers.
I think it was Drummers Q who actually mentioned that, so I think I have heard of it before. So
Cool. Yeah, you should definitely try that out. It's awesome.
probably, but I've been kind of happy with the way I use my Final Cut Pro with everything to edit my covers. So it's almost like I don't think I want to change anything. I think I'm
Yeah,
pretty
no,
happy where I'm at.
if it works, if you have a method, just stick to it if it's working.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we've reached this part of the podcast where now I give my interviewees a little bit of freedom to ask me anything, or if there's anything you'd like to get off your chest. Have at it.
I don't know, I just want to say, thanks for doing this. Thanks for inviting me on your show. Like I've said a little bit before, you've done a great job with interviewing all my drumming friends here on YouTube and giving them an opportunity and a place to speak. So I think it's awesome what you're doing. Keep it up. You've only been doing this a short time, right?
Yeah, I only started this year. I think it was, I won't say February. Yeah, I think I want to say February. That was my first one, and that was of a friend of mine who's a drummer. He performs live down in Nashville, so it's good to see that he's doing real well.
Yeah, so you've been doing a really great job interviewing a bunch of people, and it's only going to go up from here. So keep going, and like I said, thanks for giving people in our community a chance to speak and have a spotlight on them. So thank you so much.
I see. Do you use Zoom for your podcast interviews?
Yeah, I do.
I guess just why? Just kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, just because I've always used Zoom for it, might as well stick to it. You use Skype, so does that work out pretty good for you?
It does. Sometimes this thing acts a little funny at times, and it messes up the volume, so that's why. Or
yeah, Zoom does the same actually. So
well, sometimes like the audio gets like mushed together at times, so it's almost like it would start saying something before my lips move. So that part's a little frustrating. But I guess you said the same thing happens to you.
Yeah, same thing happens with Zoom. You have to do some editing before you release it.
I see. So, all right. So I at least know it's not just me. So, all right. So you ready for me to jump to the last question, or is there anything you want to throw out before?
No, that's good. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I don't know how many of my interviews you have seen, but this is a question I've always wanted to ask because I always like to give people their 2 cents on something like this because given what COVID has done in the world, and some of us have been impacted worse than others, what sort of message of hope could you give to drummers out there and in our community?
Drummers and just people in general?
Pretty much. Sometimes I like to say musicians, but in our case, drummers to start off with, and then I guess if you want to move up to musicians, go ahead.
Yeah, kind of like in every hard situation and tough situation. I know COVID's way different than a lot of the other tough situations, but you just got to remember to keep going, keep pushing forward. Nothing lasts forever, which might be a good thing in this case. And just remember to keep going and remember why you started. Before you quit, just remember why you're doing it. And most of the time, I think it's all about having fun for us. So just like I said before you quit, remember why you started, and just stay strong, keep pushing forward, and better days are hopefully coming.
Oh, it's only hope, because I think we've had enough dark days already.
Absolutely, enough for probably a whole lifetime. So let's keep going.
I would say, how's the weather out there too? Because it was kind of miserable out here to begin with. Does it get a lot cloudy out there too?
Weather here, yeah, lately it's been cloudy. Luckily, we got a few nice days this month that gave me the opportunity to go outside for outdoor covers. But yeah, mostly it's been rainy, cloudy, windy. Yeah, hopefully it gets warmer too. It's not that warm yet. It's maybe 80s. I want a little bit more.
It did jump into 90s a couple times, so and we're at least
a few times. But yeah, it's June, so I want some warmer weather. Hopefully.
Yeah, we don't want to keep going back into our jeans and everything. We want to at least get into our shorts and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we've reached the end of the podcast here, Matt, and I want to thank you so much again for coming on. I guess before we wrap up anything, do you want to give any shout-outs or say anything before we close?
Yeah, shout-outs to everyone. Shout-outs to everyone watching. Subscribe to Brian's channel. I'm sure he's so many great interviews to watch, so many great drummers he's interviewed. He also does drum covers as well, which they're awesome. And thank you, Brian, for having me on. It's been a lot of fun talking to you.
Make sure to also tune into the live streams, which I just started last week, and the first one was with Ash Wells. That was the lunch break. That's what we named it.
Yeah, it's your new thing, right? You're doing live interviews, right?
Well, I credit Ash because it was something, because he said he doesn't see a whole lot of live streaming from the drummers, so I figured might as well jump on it too and then see what it's like. And I think Throwback Drummer, he was jumping on it, and I felt bad not jumping on it because The problem is a lot of people seem to post their premieres or videos right when I'm working too. So I'm like, I still gotta work here, people. I gotta pay bills. That's the thing. So
It's hard to keep up with everything.
I know that's what's worse too, especially with 2 jobs. So it's not easy at all. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
all right. So everyone, my guest today was Drumman190, aka Matt, and Drumman. Thank you again so much for coming on, buddy. Stay safe. Stay tuned, y'all.
Thank you.